Bree Barentine, and today we're going to be talking about an article titled The Efficacy of Context Clue Strategy on Middle Grade Students' Vocabulary Development. So the purpose of this study was to figure out the best strategy that can be used to help develop struggling readers' vocabulary and to grow it so they can develop like all the other kids and maybe so they can catch up with everyone else in their class so they won't be struggling anymore. First, we need to go over a few terms that we're going to talk about that were in the article just to help us understand a few things better. The first term we're going to look at is frustration level reading. And that is when less than 85% of the words are recognized or comprehension falls below 50%. And so all the kids that are being tested and assessed in this article read at frustration level. So that means that they comprehend less than 50% of the text that they read at a time, which is crazy, which makes sense why they want to find a strategy to help these children improve their vocabulary, or really just give them strategies and give them tools to use to help them understand what they're reading better. Now that we know what frustration reading level is, we are able to better understand the students that we are talking about in this article. So what they did, the purpose of this article, like I said, was to determine the best strategy to be used, or the best strategy to give these students who read at frustration level to help them develop their language better and to help them understand what they're reading more. The way that they did that was they were comparing two different strategies. They were comparing context clue strategy and wide range reading strategy. And those don't mean much to you because you're not sure what they are. So let's refer back to our terms poster and we'll define those for you. Back to our strategies that we were comparing that we said we weren't sure what they were. Here they are. So what is context clue strategy? Or how do you use context clue strategy? Let's see. This says words or phrases around an unusual word that can help you find its meaning. So context clue strategy is basically you're given a passage to read. Let's say you're given a passage to read. And you have a question and you have multiple choice answers. And none of the answers you can find word for word in the passage. Well, what you have to do is you have to read the words around it and you have to infer what your answer would be based on its context clues. So our next strategy that we're also going to be comparing context clue strategy is to wide range reading. And let's see what that is. It says reading for long periods of time every day about many different topics. So what wide range reading is, basically you read every day for a long amount of time every day, but you're also going to be reading a wide range of materials and a wide range of topics. So you're not just reading books every single day about books about one topic. One day you might read a book, the next day you might read a magazine, next you might read an article. So you're not reading the same exact thing every single day, and you're not going to read about the same topics every day. So now that we have a few unknown terms cleared up, we're able to talk about the article more, and so in a way that you can understand it better. So the article, remember, was about comparing the two strategies, context clue strategy and wide range reading strategy, to determine which strategy would best benefit students who read at frustration level. So how did they figure this out? What they did was they took 44 6th grade students. They gave them an assessment. This assessment consisted of a 450-word passage about social studies, a topic in social studies, and it had 10 multiple choice questions to go along with the passage. Within these 10 multiple choice questions, they had two different types of multiple choice questions. They had explicit questions, which meant that they could get the answer directly from the passage. It would be word for word in the passage for them to find. There was also implicit questions, which meant it was not going to be word for word in the passage, and they were going to have to infer or use context clues to find the answer. So after they were given their assessment, they broke them into two groups. They broke them into a control group and an experimental group. The control group was taught the wide range reading strategy, which, remember, we talked about earlier, meant that they were taught how to read every single day, or they were made to read every day. They were asked to read every day, and they were given multiple types of reading and with multiple topics. And then we have the experimental group, which was taught context clue strategies. And we talked about that earlier as well, which was when you had to use words around it or phrases around it to help you determine what an unknown word meant. And so they were taught that strategy. And so after the two groups were taught their strategies, they were reassessed again with the same assessment. Just again, they were trying to see which of the control group or the experimental group, context clue strategy or wide range reading strategy, which of the two improved the most from the first time that they were assessed. And what they found was that both were effective, both groups improved, but context clue strategy improved more than the wide range reading strategy, which makes sense since they had to use context clues to answer some of the questions that they were asked. It also makes sense that the wide range reading improved as well because since they were given so many different types of reading material and on so many different types of topics, they were exposed to more words, which meant when you're exposed to more words, you're more likely to know what the meanings are of them. And so both of them improving makes sense. They were just saying that using context clues helped improve their vocabulary more because they were able to use the words around it to determine the meaning of the word without having to know the meaning of every single word.